You know what they say, the dangers of dreaming small.
Nailed it.
Helps no one at all.
Welcome to another episode of Goddess Hangs.
Episode 28.
Woo! I'm Sadie.
I'm Juliet.
Obviously. And we created this podcast to make the world of spirituality, manifestation, mindset, magic relatable and fun.
And so much fun.
We like to laugh. We like to cry sometimes. Mostly laugh.
And we like to dream.
We like to dream. That's right.
Which is what we'll be focusing on in the episode today. But we did not, excuse me as I burp, we did not do a catch-up last week because we had
a guest.
Fabulous Kelly Tennant. And we're recording this a little in advance, but I want to say so many of you guys will have reached out to us to say how much you loved having Kelly on the show.
Yes.
And so if you found us through Kelly, welcome. We're excited to have you in the Goddess family.
Yes, welcome to the new Goddess Hangs, babes.
And we have special guest Boo here.
Is Boo.
This is Sadie's daughter, Boo. And she's found a comfy spot, which is kind of a special occasion.
Yes.
She's a pretty independent,
pretty picky
lady. So this is very
She knows
exciting.
what she likes, like her mother.
Mm-hmm. And I look small because I'm leaning back so that Boo can be comfortable. So it's not that I shrunk or Sadie grew. It's just
But if you're
trick
new here,
of the light.
I am significantly larger than Juliet.
No, she's just taller.
Well, I'm not like bigger, but
She's significantly taller. But I don't ever realize that. I tend to think
Juliet thinks she's like 7 feet tall.
yeah, people like until I pass a mirror, I don't notice that people are like a full 8 inches taller than me. And
You're
I'm
not
like,
short though.
oh,
You're just
I'm a solid average.
yeah.
Solid
You're
average.
height. I'm just tall. I'm just tall. And Boo is very small.
And Boo is so small.
Boo only weighs 5 pounds, and whenever I think about that, it makes me want to cry with how cute that is.
She's such a precious
She's
little
very
girl.
small. Oh, she's
she
making
says,
a
"Thank you for scratching my chin."
So we want to spend a little bit more time on like the what's new with you segment, because we had 2 weeks in a row where we had guests, so we did a little bit with the Eckharts, but we kind of rushed through the, what's new with you, and a lot's been going on, and I was gone for a while, and there's just lots happening. So Juliet, what's new with you?
Wow. To keep on trend with how I usually answer this question, I have now taken 5 horseback riding lessons.
Oh, yes.
And it was funny because at first I was like, oh, I'll just lease the horse and I'll hop on and off we go. And my trainer was like, are you crazy? Like, I have to teach you how to do it. So I've taken 5 horseback riding lessons, and I can now saddle up the horse. I can pick the little rocks out of his feet. I can brush him. I can steer. I can go in circles. And I just this past week started learning how to post, which is like when you go faster and you go up and down on the horse.
Oh.
So I'm very excited about that. And it's just so funny because like it's just a reminder that every being is totally unique, like whether it's a human or an animal or even a plant, because most horses are super down for like affection. They want their nose to be rubbed, and the horse that I'm learning on is like, please, I would rather like you never give me a snack than you touch my nose. Like, so it's like we all have our own little sensitivities. So I've been having a lot of fun hanging out at the barn once a week.
Little cowgirl Juliet. I love it.
And now what I want to start doing is painting. I've been watching all these painting videos on YouTube.
I've been thinking about that recently too, actually.
Really?
Not an artist that I know of. Well, anyone can be an artist. I'm not trying to sound like inhibiting or anything, but like I'm not like the traditionally thought of good at drawing or whatever. But I was like, it would be fun just to like paint.
Yes, that's how I feel. I want to make
Boo is like going to town, and it's very distracting. I don't know if you're watching this and you can see her just grooming away in an aggressive manner.
Oh my God, she's so cute. So yeah, I want to do like marbly kind of paintings and resin geode looking paintings. And I have no idea how to do any of it, but I'm going to figure it out. And I will share the process on our Instagram and on my Instagram. So I'm just being called lately to do some things just for the sake of doing them and because they're fun and they sound exciting. So what's new with you? A
lot of noises outside the door. Okay, let's see. What's new with me? Well, I've been feeling this call lately to be more active.
Okay.
Because I just wish I was one of those people that I was like, I can't go a day without exercising. I love it so much. Because I like how I feel when I'm like active every day, but I have such a hard time getting myself
I'm the same way
to do it. So for Christmas, Craig got me roller skates, and I've been playing with them in like the driveway and like the front sidewalk, but I've been too scared to go down by the beach onto like the beach the boardwalk sidewalk area, you know. I don't know, like I guess in case I like fall I'll be embarrassed or something. I don't know why, I've just had a fear of going down there.
Okay.
But I finally started going roller skating down at the beach, so that was a big moment for me.
Yay!
No falls yet. And it's really funny because Craig like bikes alongside me, but obviously I'm going much slower, so he'll like bike up and then he like circles around, and then he bikes up, he just bikes circles around me. It's so funny. People probably think he's like harassing me or
Sir, get away.
Because he comes by and he's like when like saying stuff at me, like hitting on me, and then he goes and he comes back around. I'm like, if anyone's watching this and like doesn't know that we're a couple, they're probably like, ew. But it's very fun. And then I was like, so like I said, I have a hard time committing to exercising every day, but roller skating has been helping because that's fun and playful. And then I need like classes to go to.
Okay.
And I need to go to the same classes like each day of like the week so that I feel held accountable. Like I don't want to let my teacher down. Like I always am at that class, you know? I think it's because I grew up going to ballet class like 6 nights a week. So that's just like me. That's how I stay fit. And obviously there hasn't been in studio classes. So when I lived in Santa Barbara, I would go to yoga like every single day at my studio. I loved it. I was so in shape and I felt so good, so mentally well. And I think in my memories, my Facebook memories, a memory popped up recently of me when I know I was doing yoga every day, and like my body doesn't fluctuate too much. I'm very fortunate, but that like, you know, my weight changes is not a lot, but I saw how like fit and healthy I looked, and I was like, man, and I know mentally I felt so good then too. Like, why am I not doing that? Like, why is it so hard for me? Like, I could just like, I looked so muscular and I was like, wow, like not like buff, but like, I could just tell I was so in shape. I was like, man, I want to be that version of me again. Like combined with like all of this other good version of me stuff I've been building into. Like that was one part that I kind of like lost and left behind. So I found a yoga studio near me that and I went to my first in-studio class since like, you know,
wow,
a year and a half ago, because it was such a bummer. I finally committed to a yoga studio a few like 2 months before the pandemic hit. So I had started going again every night after like 2 years of not doing that, or like maybe only a year, no, like 2 years. I fell off, and then I was like finally back in the swing of it, and then the pandemic hit, and I just like, I can't do workouts at home. It just does not happen. I try and will myself to do it, and I've been like consistently like going on walks and like spending 10 or 15 minutes like doing yoga stretches, but I can't get myself to do the hard workout. It just doesn't happen. So I'm really excited. Oh, Boo is being really cute right now. I'm really excited to be recommitting to that, because even like I've literally just done one of the yoga classes and I'm like, I feel alive. I feel so much better when I do that. So I'm excited to be a yogi again. And what else is new? I'm excited for our event. I've had a lot of fun. So I want to say shout out to the Chatty Broads babes, any that are listening, that found me like through being a Chatty Broads fan, and then a fan of Craig's through that, and then finding me through that, because I had a huge influx of people when I was I was right when I first left for my trip. It was so crazy. So, you know, my phone's on airplane mode. I had done a reading a few days prior, this matters in a moment. So I got off the plane and I put my phone back on normal, and it popped up that I had suddenly sold a bunch of readings, and I had a bunch of new followers, like over 100 new followers, and sold a ton of readings. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, this is amazing, but like, what? I was like, what's going on? And then someone who's been following me for a while, and we've worked together on stuff and whatever, like we've been chatting, we're Instagram friends. She sent me a message with a screenshot and said, oh, someone posted like a review of you in the Chatty Broads Facebook group. They were blown away by your reading, and like it's getting lots of engagement. And I was like, oh. So I just want to say thank you so much if you're listening to the person, you know who you are, that posted that single post that like made such a huge difference for me. I don't know, I just want everyone to know, like, those little actions you take, like when someone makes your day or does a good job or whatever, to like do something like that was so huge for me and so exciting for me. So thank you to everyone that's like new around here via that. And thank you and so I've been doing a ton of readings because I had all these to catch up on. And it's just been so fun because I haven't been doing tons of readings lately, and then all of a sudden I get to do a bunch. And the best part of a reading is actually like getting to hear back afterwards and how my reading spoke to you, and then like getting to respond again. And like, it's just so special that you all like, you do it too, you read and let us into your lives and like tell us intimate things and like really like become vulnerable. Like, that's so meaningful to me, and it's so fun, and I'm so grateful. It's like so cool that I get to do that as like part of my job. And so thank you Chatty Broads babes, and tell Chatty Broads that you want us on their podcast.
Oh my god, yes, please, let's start a movement.
Let's do it.
Let's get goddess hang. You know, like when you used to watch your Nickelodeon shows, and it was like they would put I don't know, like the Wild Thornberries would meet the Hey Arnold, like those crossover
event. There was I love the Brooklyn Nine-Nine and New Girl crossover event. They still do that.
Let's do a Chatty Broads Goddess Hangs crossover event. And you know, it just takes one post or one DM to like make a difference, like what Sadie was just saying. So thank you guys for being like so supportive and such awesome cheerleaders for our baby podcast. So thank you.
Yes, I've also gotten so many like DMs and comments too of like, oh my gosh, like, you know, you've helped us this way or that, or like, you know, I'm excited for you guys to grow, but I kind of like love how you're small right now and we get to be like talk to you and whatever. And like those messages always make our day. And even when we have, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers, we're still gonna talk to you all.
You'll still be in the primary inbox, so don't be afraid to share.
I always love, you know, responding to everyone in my DMs, and it even like, I guess because my page has like a bigger following, but it's still like not anything crazy. But sometimes I'll respond to someone and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised you responded or whatever. I was like, really? Of course I'm gonna respond. I'm not gonna ignore you.
They're like, Britney Spears.
Yeah, unless it's like some dude that's just saying, hey, I ignore those. But if you have more to say other than just hi, I respond.
I've left a couple comments on Britney Spears's Instagram pictures, just maybe on the crazy off chance that she's, because like I have wild luck, so it just wouldn't surprise me if she was like, oh, Juliet seems really loving and supportive, let me just hit her up. Hasn't happened yet, but it very well could.
We're manifesting.
Very well could.
We're gonna have Britney on Goddess Hangs.
Goddess Hangs X Britney Spears.
Here we go. We're manifesting. asking it.
I would need to
everybody
be
go
sedated.
DM Britney Spears.
I would need to be sedated.
I'm losing my breath because of thought of that.
Took her breath away. Okay, now I can sit up and be more normal sized because the cat. See, look at what a difference that makes.
Oh yeah, you're all slouched. I am gonna drink some of your water because my throat's
go for it.
sketchy. I forgot my water.
Go for it. Go for it. Oh, Boo's got her leg just straight up in the air.
Her name
was Lola.
She was a showgirl. She's looking back at us like she knows we're talking about her.
She's like, would you just leave me alone? No, the answer is no.
Absolutely not.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that's what's going on with me. I think I talked a little bit about my trip already a few episodes ago. I don't know, it's been so long. I think the biggest thing for me recently was just like, I think we kind of came across the same thing, me more on like the active side, but you and the painting, whatever. I've been thinking about that, where like I've been starting to feel myself get caught up in like, how am I going to make this, and this happen? Mm-hmm. I want my business to be doing this much money, and I want Goddess Hangs to be growing this much every month, and I want this to be happening. Mm-hmm. And we actually just talked about it in Kelly's episode too, a little bit of just like, you gotta like let go and release. So I was like, all right, like how can I open up my energy and like raise my vibration in ways that have nothing to do with my business and nothing to do with this podcast? And it's really interesting to see like, oh, like I signed up, I committed to a yoga studio, and then that day I made more than enough of like the unlimited membership or whatever. Like stuff just happens quickly when you start being like, oh, I'm going to commit to this thing. Oh, this came through. I wasn't expecting that or whatever. It's just, it's cool.
It's so cool. And I'll just say one more thing about horses. And I'm not even a horse girl, and I never was, but maybe I am now. When even just like walking beside / kind of like leading a horse, I mean, that thing is big. That thing could kill you if it wanted to. And it's funny because I'll feel my little like almost like my middle school esque insecurities come up of like, I can't do this. This is scary. Da, 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 da. But then it's like this great opportunity to be like, no, like I can command, I can like respectfully, this animal, and like they can trust me, and I can trust me to lead them. And it does overlap into other areas of your life. So for me, it's been like a good confidence thing. Yeah. It's been nice.
It's like a mutual respect and confidence in each other. I think this is a great leeway into what we want to chat about, which is what did I say? The dangers of dreaming small. Yes. I always come up with catchy things and then I don't remember them, but Juliet remembers.
You know what they say? The dangers of dreaming small.
Nailed it.
Helps no one at all. We haven't done that in a minute. I felt like it was time to bring it back
for all of our new listeners to experience. We're an improv duo, if you didn't know.
Yes, everything is improv. Who am I?
I actually do want to take improv classes, so you just watch out for after that. Maybe I'll even take the musical improv class.
Ooh, buckle your seatbelts, one and all.
I figured out like early into the pandemic that I wanted to do that, but they're all online classes right now, which I'm like, all right, that doesn't sound fun at all. I want to go to a real improv class in person and not have to have masks. I'm very expressive and I want to see people's faces and all that. So that'll be coming up hopefully soon. Anyways, the dangers of dreaming small. Yeah, you were telling me a little story about a conversation you were having that kind of brought this up for you. So I think you should tell everybody about that experience.
Okay, so this is a conversation that a good friend had with me, and I'll just point blank tell you what it was. She said, would you rather have, we were like fantasizing about our future like engagement rings, which we've done since we were like 10. This was not like Victor asked her to ask me, because we've talked about it once a week since we were And also, total side note, I went up to Victor and I said, you're going to involve me in that process, right? Like, I'm not going to be surprised. He's like, oh yeah, no, I'm not messing that up. So, so anyways, so before you all get like, oh, your friend is asking, that's not happening anytime soon. But she said, would you rather have a larger lab-created diamond or a smaller natural diamond? And I was so confused by the question because I was like, well, in my deepest of fantasies, and I know this sounds very superficial, but just go with me. This is a metaphor. I said, I'd rather have a large natural diamond. And she kept saying, no, but like, you know, if you had to choose and like because of budget. And I said, why would I have to choose? And it was in that moment that I realized we are so, without realizing it, subconsciously selling ourselves short and not allowing ourselves to like dream big or be excited or like go with the feeling of the things that we desire. We see what we desire, we know what we desire, and then we don't even like allow ourselves sometimes the experience to like enjoy the fantasy of it. It's very strange because we are protecting ourselves from like hurt, pain, or rejection. When really, what happens when we dream really, really big is, first of all, we're in like this state of a lot of excitement. Like I hate when people say, don't get your hopes up. Like I love getting my hopes up because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But then I just spent a year being hopeful. Like, is that really the worst thing?
Yeah, being excited about something. Yeah.
And like for my living situation, like my dream home looks a particular way in my mind, but it's almost like shoot for the moon and you'll like land among a star, like that, you know, quote everybody put as their like yearbook quote. But it's really kind of true. Like you can either sort of stay on earth metaphorically and be like, well, I'm not even gonna reach for that thing. Or you can reach for the moon. If you miss, you land on a star and hey, I'm not at the moon yet, but look at this amazing place I am now that is like light years away.
Maybe the star is even better than the moon.
Maybe the star is even better than the moon.
Yeah, I think we like to dream ourselves into like a
corner,
a box or a corner. Like we decide that we're the type of person that is going to live a certain kind of life. Like I remember always thinking like, okay, I grew up in a family with like this level of wealth, which was, you know, medium amount, but like always more than enough and whatever, but not like wealthy, not rich, whatever. And I was taught like, okay, so my parents reached that by having like this kind of job, but I don't want that kind of job. So like, I'm definitely going to have less than that. But as long as I have a little more than enough, but I get to be happy with like what I do. Like that sounds good to me. Well, that's a weird dream to have. Like I dream of like liking my work, but I'm accepting that it's going to make me not very much money, but maybe like hopefully enough to survive and a little plus that. And that was my dream. That is crazy.
Oh, I had the same thing. It was only like within the past year or so since like we dove into like our own investigations and coursework and stuff that I don't feel guilty about wanting to earn a lot. I don't feel like some of my purchases are like frivolous or a waste. And I pass by houses that are probably like $20 million houses. And though in no present reality would I get approved for a loan of even a 40th of that. I mean, I don't know what the math would be, but I'm definitely not in that ballpark yet. But I can look at that house and be like, yeah, I could live in a house like that someday. I could enjoy a house like that.
I see myself there.
I could see that. I'm the kind of person who could do that. And I didn't believe that for a while. I used to walk around saying, oh, I mean, you know, living in LA is great, but like I'll never be able to afford a home. Like that's just not for my generation.
Yeah, when I first moved here, especially like from Wisconsin, and like a really big nice house is like a few $100,000. And then I moved here and I was like, oh, like minimum almost $1 million, you know, like, because Santa Barbara I lived first and it's crazy expensive there. And then of course LA is too. So I just decided, I was like, oh, I'll never be a homeowner.
Now that sounds crazy. And Grant, we don't own homes at this moment, but we're in the next 10 years, we're going to own homes.
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
multiple homes.
Yeah.
It's so, and let me tell you something. To have a friend, and if you don't have a friend on this wavelength, check out who's commenting on our posts in Goddess Hangs and DM one of those girls, because everyone's such a sweetheart. To have a
make
friend,
like a Facebook group so everyone can chat with each other.
I was thinking that this week.
Do you guys want a Facebook group where we can all talk all together? We talk to you guys in our DMs. I feel like it'd be fun for you to just share that stuff with like everybody. We shared a lot of the time in the stories, but would you guys like that? Comment below if you want a Facebook group to make Goddess friends.
It's so fun to have a friend that you can talk to and you can say, I am fantasizing about this. I am desiring this. I am excited about this. And they don't roll their eyes at you, you know? And that's sort of like the beauty of our friendship, is because, you know, I saw a flyer in your living room a few months ago for like whatever that beautiful house cost.
Oh, the condo across the street. Yeah.
And I was like, good, put this on the fridge.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, ugh, Sadie, head in the clouds.
Yeah.
You know, because who's to say that like our businesses won't take off like crazy in the next 12 months?
I always have the attitude like I could afford this tomorrow. I could. That's how I'm gonna live. I'm gonna be like, next month I could have $100,000 a month. Tomorrow this could happen. Next week this could happen, because you don't know. And if you decide those things aren't gonna happen for you, well then they could, but they're less likely to, because you're energetically closing yourself into a small dream, into a small corner.
Yeah.
And it's not like I look back at the old me, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so silly. Like that was so dumb, old Sadie, to like think that stuff. But it makes sense and it's totally normal, because we grow up in a frame of reference of like our family and our friends and the people we went to school with and the people that we just like saw as we grew. So we do have a frame of reference that boxes us in. But that it's literally just an imaginary box that you can just like knock over.
we both love this idea of like, what is the difference between a limiting belief and the truth? And so when we were telling ourselves like, oh, well, we'll never be homeowners, we'll never own real estate, we'll never own property, it feels very true as you say it, but is it the ultimate truth?
Has anyone ever owned a house before? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So then it's very possible.
Right?
And you can even take it a step further. Like, has anyone that has come from a place like where I came from owned and then moved to where I live now? Has that happened and they own a house before? Fuck yeah. People have come from, you know, families in poverty and then gone on to be multimillionaire billionaires. Like, they weren't special people. They were just people that decided like, I'm going to do this. They weren't like blessed by God with a special predestined outcome to like oh yes, you are special, you get to do this. It's like, no, they just were like, this is unacceptable for me and my family. I'm deciding that this is no longer how we're gonna live, and I'm gonna grow up and do amazing things. And they go out and do it, and like there's nothing special about that person other than their belief in themselves and like pushing through every time they failed or went up against a roadblock or thought that things weren't going to work out. They were just like, oh no, that's fine. I know I'm still the person that's going to be the millionaire, the billionaire, whatever. I know that's still for me. These people that have these like amazing, fantastical lives, like they just didn't come up to a point and that reached their threshold of their frame of reference and say, oh, okay, I'm done because I did that. They were like, oh, well, we made it here. Why not step outside this? Why not step outside this? So any of us can do that. Literally anybody can do that.
And we talk a lot about energy and like shifting your energy, raising your energy, stepping into a new energy level. And I had heard this so many times, and then it really clicked. And we have a whole section on this in the Goddess Handbook about like quantum leaping. And it's sort of like, okay, we are speaking and feeling and behaving based on the circumstances we see in front of us at this moment, which really, up until this moment, we're seeing a reflection of our past. Because everything that's in front of us, this was a decision from the past to buy this chair, to get this ring, to cut my hair this way, whatever. Everything up until this present moment is a reflection of our past. It is not a reflection of our future. So in order to shift into these new levels and new feelings of like abundance and excitement, and like I get to have my desires, I get to have what I want, we have to start operating from the place of sort of already having it. What does it feel like to actually have it? If somebody came up to you right now and said, hey, by the way, the $20 million house is yours, the career you've always wanted is yours, the pregnancy is yours, the health condition resolved is yours, like all these things, what would that feel like? What does that version of you think about life? How do they speak about life? How do they go through the day? And that is the quickest way to like close the gap and like play with a new energy level. And so we go more in depth like in the handbook, but it's just so many of us, we look at our present circumstances, and there's a Jackson Brown quote that I love, and he says, don't think it won't happen just because it hasn't happened yet. And it's so true. Like I think for years I was like, I guess I'll just never meet a great guy. Like, who knows? And then you do. I mean,
you always do. And you're like, you know what? I don't need to meet anyone. I don't want to or whatever. And then you're like, oh, there they are.
So it's exciting to play with different energies. Like what does, how does next level Juliet go through the world? How does homeowner Juliet go through the world? How does married Juliet go through the world? Like, how is she making decisions? How is she viewing things? And it's crazy how quickly reality catches up to fill the gap.
It's actually funny because I wrote a post to post today. I'll probably post it tomorrow instead. But this is what you're just saying is what I wrote about, because I think we say a lot like, okay, you have to get in the vibration that it's already yours, and that's how you get the things. But like, why does that work? How does that work? And it's because like what you're saying, like when you get into the frequency of like, I'm going to say like, okay, I'm going to start living, Boo's stretching over there. So cute. Okay. She's so distracting. Got to kick her out of here. I'm going to get in the vibration that I am a millionaire. How do I become a millionaire? Well, if you ask me right now, Sadie, how are you going to become a millionaire? I don't know the steps to that. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to happen. I'm going to keep doing my thing. But, we talk about like inspired action. So the first thing I do, if I get in the frequency, if I wake up in the morning, I'm like, all right, how would the millionaire version of me spend my day? Well, I'm probably not going to spend 3 hours scrolling on Instagram to start my day, right? I'm probably not going to procrastinate. I'm probably not going to make excuses not to do certain things. I'm probably not going to do certain things that might self-sabotage or like slow me down, right? Like I'm like, okay, I'm waking up this morning, and how do I visualize a millionaire version of me? All right, well, the first thing that millionaire version of me does is she gets up and she meditates, she goes to yoga class, she comes home, she writes, a post or like an inspirational message, then she meets with clients, and then she does this. Like I'm going to get in that space. And that's where then when we're tapping into our intuition, and we need that information on how to become a millionaire. Well, we've been like living our day believing that we are, and getting in that vibration and that frequency of like, the way I spend my day now is no different than millionaire version of me. So that's when I get those intuitive inspirations, those downloads, those messages, because my brain doesn't know that I'm not a millionaire. And so it's going to give me that information. And that's how you start moving towards those things that you want. That's why it's important to get in the vibration. That's how the law of attraction works, is because it works really closely with the law of vibration to go, oh, like you're vibrating at this frequency, so we better give you the information to make that happen. It's not magic. It's not like, it is magic, but it's not like abracadabra, poof. The thing is there. It's like, no, you're training your brain to like receive those messages from above or pull it out of your subconscious to show you what you need to do and to take the steps along the way. And then yes, like miracles happen and unexpected opportunities and surprises come to you. You do become a magnet for those things, but it's not some fantastical thing that's happening. It's literally like training yourself to think like that version of you, to, you know, what would be different about you in your relationship now versus married you. Well, hopefully you're not doing things that differently because you just want to have like a healthy, balanced relationship all the time. So it's like we can't wait for the things to come to us to start being that version of ourselves. How can it's like if you're unhappy with your job and then you go get a different job, but it's the same fucking job. And this is what I did all the time. I was like, well, maybe it'll be different. Maybe I'll be happier doing the same thing somewhere else. No, I just kept staying in that like same vibration. I couldn't get out of that. So if you're looking to like step out of your small dream and looking at your big dream, you gotta start living every day like that big dream is yours. And like, what does that version of you do? And that's when you'll start tuning into your intuition and just feeling those nudges and those gut feelings that are going to lead you down that way because you're inadvertently asking for that information.
And it can feel scary to just 100% decide something that seems so big and so unbelievable, and something that maybe nobody in your friend group is doing or nobody in your family has ever done. And it's because we have this fear of like, what if people see me fail, or what if I think the path, or even
like of yourself, like disappointing yourself. Like, what if I start a business and nobody wants to be a part of it, so I have to stop and I'll be sad. You know, it's hard to admit to yourself what you want because then you feel like, oh, I better go after it now.
I would just say to that every single person who has done extraordinary things with their life decided that they would, committed, believed fully in their vision. They let themselves go there. I think that was why I had such like a funny time with like, well, which of these two ring options that neither that you really want, like which would you pick? And I was like, neither. Like I don't
have to pick that.
I don't have to pick. Like why? That's not what I ultimately want. And it's the same with everything else. I think so many times and I've done this too, like we go into a job that feels safe or sturdy or reliable, and then we might find ourselves like really unhappy there because it's not really what we really want to do, and it's just, it's so natural for us to dream big and to dream bigger, because by the danger of dreaming small is we will stay in that small restrictive energy, and we're not, because we're tight and living in like a scarcity mindset, like, well, I really want this, but I'm not going to dream about it because then it might not happen and then I'll be sad. It's like, just dream about it. Just fantasize it. Just like embody what that would feel like. And your job is to just feel like it's yours, feel like it's done, feel like it's coming. And that's a lot of fun. Like I wake up every day expecting very good news in an email. I don't get it every day, but I do wake up expecting it every day.
It feels good to wake up that way, and it's not that disappointing for the email to not come. You're just like, ooh, then it must be coming tomorrow.
100%. It's like Christmas morning vibes when I wake up. I wake up excited because I'm like, well, maybe today's the day.
Yep. I think we've talked about that before, where it's like, if you want to like not believe in manifestation, which doesn't make sense because everything is a manifestation, but if you don't want to believe in like intentional manifestation, like that's fine. But me and Juliet are over here having the time of our lives, more or less pretending that we're millionaires, more or less pretending that we have hundreds of thousands of followers. And guess what? That makes our podcast like really fun to listen to because we speak with confidence, like when we have fun as though we're like big famous podcasters, and people have fun following us individually and taking part in our classes and programs and doing our readings, because we approach them in a way where we're like, I'm an authority on this and I'm an expert and I care so deeply about this because I'm the most amazing there ever was. Because we're just gonna live every day like that's the truth of the matter, and maybe that's not the true reality,
but it will
but reality is catching up to us.
It will be.
And that makes, you know, that makes everything we do like have that energy behind it, and why like we've been able to connect with you guys so well. And you know, just I don't know, like we have fun. It doesn't matter if it's not real, even though it is, because like we're just like living every day having a good time. Well, you know, not every day.
Hey,
we've talked about that, but you know what I mean. I'm like, well, I had another dark night of the soul. No, I figured out it's just right before I get my period. I just feel awful.
I didn't want to say that, but it happens to me too. I just get very irritated.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I so mad? And then I realize why. And I'm like, oh, and then I don't feel mad anymore. Like once I know.
Yeah.
My mom used to tell me that when she was little and somebody was like, are you about to get your period? It would make her so mad. And for me, if I was grumpy, she'd be like, are you about to get your period? And I'd be like, you know what, I am. Thank you.
I know that about myself, but I just don't like, I don't know. I don't pay attention. I track my cycles. I know when it's coming, but it's literally like within the same day, like I'll wake up and being like, oh, and then the second that I start bleeding, I am a little ball of sunshine. It just takes the tiniest, it's just that like, it's like quivering on the edge of it. There's like the 2 days before it happens and I'm just like, who am I? What am I doing? And then it literally one drop comes out and I'm like, life is beautiful and I can't wait to keep living. Yep.
That sounds very normal. That sounds very
so my
normal.
monthly dark night of the soul. It literally is though. Like I'll just be like, you know what? I'm gonna quit. I'm not doing my business anymore. Like I it's never like actually gonna happen. But I have these conversations where in my head where I'm like, what am I even doing? I'm done.
It's so funny. I was talking to Victor and I was like, can you believe that I bleed every month for a week?
This is my thing.
Can you just imagine what that might be like?
I know, like I hope everyone that has a menstrual cycle gets to this point in their relationship with their period, because I love my period now, because it doesn't. I had a very unhealthy, I used to be in so much pain from cramps. I would throw up. I'd have to miss work. I'd have to miss class. Like I had a terrible period for so long. And luckily for me, it was fairly simple to sort out. It was a lot of energetic stuff and also dairy. Stopped eating dairy and 99% of my problems went away. So hot tip for anyone with awful painful periods.
That didn't help me, but go on.
A lot of it was just like if I'm going through something difficult emotionally, my period hurts way more. So it's very like, it's very tied to energy for me. So I'm fortunate that I was able to sort it. Well, I mean, actually I had like, it's only in the past like 2 years that my period hasn't hurt that bad. So I mean, I had over a decade of it. But anyways, I was thinking about how I need, whether I had a positive relationship with my period or not, how I needed that release every month. Men don't have that. No wonder they're so crazy.
Well, we get to cry for a couple days, which is like
but
very releasing.
Nothing exits out of their body like that. Like they don't get to release. Well, yeah, but
but it's different.
It's different because I feel better when I have an orgasm too, but like that's not the same as like the way like I feel like hormonal stuff is just dumped out of like, you know, like our hormones build up and we feel that release. And I feel like that stuff's just, it's different, and how men don't have that. And I'm like, man, I hope I never reincarnate as someone without a menstrual cycle, because I'm so grateful for mine.
I know. I used to feel like it was the biggest drag, and I would be really...
I used to hate it. I was like, I wish I was a guy. I never had to worry about a period.
And now I like it because I it's like a nice little reset. It's not nice necessarily. I have always had just horrific, like I need 4 Advil every 4 hours cramps.
Yeah.
But
I don't at all anymore. I barely get
That's so
cramps. I get a
nice.
backache a little bit, but and once in a while if I'm going through something, like I said.
but I still like it.
Yeah, I'm not a period coach. I've never gone to a period coach. There's lots of amazing women out there that work with stuff like this. If you're someone who needs to figure out their period, because I'm so grateful I figured it out fairly young, because I'm gonna like soak it up before menopause when I don't have my cycle anymore, because I've heard it's like hard because you're so used to that release every month and suddenly don't have that anymore.
Isn't that so okay? This the dangers
This took
of
a turn.
dreaming small
And periods
talk. Isn't it weird to imagine that, like, I don't know, in 15 to 20 years we just won't bleed anymore?
I know. It'll be nice in some ways, like less mess.
It's just hard to imagine.
But,
it's like it's hard to remember ever not bleeding. I feel like because I was 11.
Oh, really? I was a
got
little
mine.
older. I was like the last kid to get mine, I feel like. Like I pretended I had mine because I was embarrassed I didn't have mine yet.
Just walking around with a pad.
No, I'd just be like, I'm grumpy too.
Oh, it's the worst. Just kidding. I'm gonna wear white jeans and go swimming.
And then like the first like year of my period, it was like only spotting. I didn't get a full on period either.
Oh
for
my
a
god!
long
Wait,
time.
this is funny. So the first time,
Okay, everyone DM us your crazy first period stories.
the first time I got my period, it lasted for like 10 days, which is normal. The first one can last a long time, and then I was like, oh, phew, it's over. And then my mom said, great. So when it comes next month, and I said, it has to come again. Like I thought maybe it was just a one-time thing. I didn't understand. I was like, what do you mean
Every
next month?
How do we even start talking about this?
I don't know. I couldn't even tell us in the comments how
did we start
talking about this. But it's important that as women we are open about these things.
I think I love talking about periods. Tell me your stories. I like it. I love my period now. I'm grateful for that. And I hope you all do too. And if you don't, I don't know how to help you, but I follow a few period guru people, so I can give you some accounts to follow.
I think the thing that I've realized is that the first 2 weeks, like day 1 you start bleeding, and those first 2 weeks, that's when you're supposed to get the most done.
Yeah,
it's like the
for
energized time. And then the second 2 weeks, because I can always feel when my hormones dip. I can always feel it. Sometimes I can feel myself drop an egg.
I get a little cramp.
Yeah, middle schmerz.
Middle schmerz. It reminds me of what's the doctor, the mad scientist name in Phineas and Ferb?
Dr. Doofenshmirtz?
Yeah, that's what I think of.
Perry the Platypus. Oh my god, I still love that show.
It's a good cartoon.
Yeah, I just think our bodies are so amazing.
They're pretty crazy.
They're so amazing.
Anyways, so
Dreaming big.
the dangers of dreaming small. In conclusion, dream big. No, I think it would be fun to share with us maybe like a revelation you had while we were talking about all of this, of something that you've been keeping yourself small in, or like bargaining with your dream in that particular thing, and either commenting on YouTube or DMing us on Instagram, and we would like share them like anonymously or with your credit if you want. But I would love to hear, like, because you heard examples from both of us of ways that we used to kind of bargain with our dreams and dream small. So what's something that maybe you're realizing right now, or you've already kind of moved past, but you used to like keep yourself in a box of like, oh, well, this would be nice, and like that's all I need, or like I can either have this or this, I can't have both. Like, what's a dream that you've been keeping dangerously small yourself?
And how is it serving you to keep it small? The answer is it's probably not serving you.
And what's your new big dream?
And what's your new big dream? Who's got a big dream?
Who's got a big dream? It's you. Oh, I love it. Well,
I love that. It was a big riff on like not playing small, and then a heart-to-heart period
It's
chat.
really, I'm gonna have to listen back to this immediately and find out how we started talking about periods. It's like really annoying me.
You guys, should we wrap it up?
I think so. I think this is a good,
this feels good,
little episode. If you haven't already, guys, we have a handbook we created just for you, the Goddess Handbook.
Dun, dun,
and
dun, dun.
it's all of the like keys to, I don't know, like being a goddess, like our definition, or our way that we consistently like stay in and embody like our goddess energy, meaning like keeping our vibration high, being, you know, motivated to like take care of ourselves and go after what we really want and honor our desires. There's magic, there's witchcraft, there's mindset work, there's intuition work, there's affirmations,
self-care,
there's self-care.
self-love.
Yep.
We have Manifestation 101. We have, I mean, Sadie like listed out her most potent, powerful, effective spells, and she's the queen of that. So you're really getting sort of like a big part of both of our hearts and our like core beliefs and values and things that we, oh my God, I have a sunburn here. I just touched my chest and it's so hot. You just really get to feel like you're a little closer to us and be in our energy. And it's sort of like the step-by-step guide to sort of, just bring goddess energy into your life. Because, I mean, it's sort of like what Sadie said this whole time, like everyone's equally special. We're not more special than anyone else. The people who are, you know, millionaire, billionaires, or people who've gone after their dreams are not more special than anybody else. It's just a matter of like different beliefs and different behaviors and different decisions. And so we're excited to share what's worked for us with you. And we can't wait to hear like what has like been a game changer. Oh, there's full moon rituals, new moon rituals. There's so much in this handbook.
And if you've already purchased it, we'd love to hear from you. DM us or email us, goddesshangs@gmail.com, to let us know what you think and like what's been your favorite part and what's been helpful. We'd love to hear from you. Also, if you purchase the Goddess Handbook, I give you a little discount code for my Basic Witch 101. If you want to dive even deeper into like you got a taste of my witchcraft there. Basic Witch 101 has everyday magic. It's got more money spells. Pretty soon it's going to have some really great intuition work included in it, as well as love spells. So this episode's coming out in a couple weeks actually, so maybe it'll be up already, who knows. Ask me if you're wondering. But that's an offering that's available all the time, and I think by the time this episode comes out, I'll be in the swing of launching Money Mindset Magic again. Ooh. Which is my signature course combining money mindset and witchcraft to bring abundance into your life. It has a lot to do with what we talked about today, because really at the base of all of our big dreams is money. So if we want to start manifesting big things, this course will not only teach you like the process of manifestation, like how to intentionally manifest into your life, but it's going to make sure that your money mindset's right, because a lot of those big things we want, it takes money to get them. So we do spells, we do mindset work, we talk about, you know, how to kick all of those like funky beliefs, that yucky energy out, making money our BFF. You know, we love the BFF energy around here. So if you're ready to make money your new BFF, come hang out at Money Mindset Magic with me. That will be a 3-week course, and we're also going to do a live call together to do question and answers and just like hang out. So yeah,
I love that. And if there's any aspiring singer-songwriter artists, anybody in music listening, it's going to just be open year-round. I'll just occasionally put it on sale. I'm going to bump the price down just a little bit, just because I'm announcing it right now. But I have a really special singer-songwriter masterclass. It's a 1-hour video, and you get some extra little bonus resources and the opportunity to reach out to me within 6 months of taking the course to ask 2 questions that will help you, sort of like one-on-one coaching with your music career. And if you have never heard of me, that's kind of a cool way. It's kind of cool because I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So I work on major television shows doing music. I work with major advertisements. As an artist, I've had my songs on major radio stations. I work with all of the major like publishers and labels, and I do all sorts of things. And I've been able to build a really awesome career around being a singer-songwriter and a songwriter and an artist. So if you've been like feeling that tug on your heart, it would actually be a very cool pairing with Money Mindset Magic, because that's sort of like the magic energetic piece. So you'll get all the singer-songwriter info, and I do talk a little bit about affirmations and imposter syndrome and stuff, but then to pair it with Money Mindset, you will be like whoosh, like set to go.
Yes.
So we'll link everything below.
Link. Follow us on Instagram. We are at Goddess Hangs. I am Sadie Olson.
I am at Juliet.Piper.
Make sure you hit subscribe. Go leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's a huge help to us to have subscribers and reviews to help us grow. And we are just so freaking grateful for you guys. We will see you next week.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.